So not welcome to Flying Wheels, welcome to the NIADA convention, National Independent Automotive Dealers Association out of Las Vegas. My name is Craig. Today we're collaborating with, you already may know him. Want to introduce yourself real quick?
Lucky Lopez with Automotive Life, another fellow YouTuber.
So I love doing collaborations. We've already done one before. This will be our second collaboration together, as well as many other chats. Today's video is kind of interesting because we're going to be doing some banter back and forth, maybe some car dealer stories, maybe some YouTube stories, talk about what the NIADA is. It's going to be a little different than the conventional videos that probably you do or I do myself. Yeah. And maybe we'll speak about what the NIAD is. NIAD. I mean, am I going to have trouble this whole video?
I know, exactly. We're just
so many. Such an acronym. All right. Well, whatever. We're just going to keep going. So we're just going to chat. We'll talk about stuff. We'll talk about life. I'd love to hear some of your stories. My viewers love to hear my tragedies, my headaches. They kind of live through me. Yeah. I'd like to hear some of yours so I know I'm not alone here. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. This is
Lucky Lopez with Automotive Life.
Let's get going. So welcome to Flying Wheels featuring Lucky Lopez today. I've never really done a discussion board like this. We're kind of just hanging out on a panel on a stage. I actually thought we were doing like a podcast with everybody watching.
Yeah, I figured it'd be a little more quiet, a little more secluded, but we're out here in front of everybody putting on a show.
Yeah.
But I have to recommend, like, you came prepared. I came up literally with nothing, just my cell phone. You actually have people, camera set up, so kudos to you. You're far more professional.
This isn't me. I have people behind the scenes making me look way better than I really am. So we're at the National Independent Automotive Dealers Association. A lot of my viewers are dealers. A lot of your viewers, I assume, are dealers as well. My channel got started by me doing videos based on my car dealership. I started my car dealership at 23. I really had no money, and it kind of progressed really well. 1 turned into 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, and so on until we have what we have today. And I did a video about that, how I started my car dealership when I was 23 with no money. Yeah. And it was essentially me talking to myself at 23. Everybody that was like me at that point, everything I wish I knew is what I vlog about. So all of my experiences, and then it turned into kind of an entertainment channel as well. When I go through struggles, when I have strife, when I have stories, I love sharing them because you guys love hearing my misery.
Yeah.
How did you get started in the automotive world? Let's start with the automotive world. How did you get started in the automotive world?
I always loved cars. In high school, I started flipping cars when I was a kid. My dad told me he wouldn't buy me a car, so I just started buying buckets off of Craigslist, off the old newspaper, show how old I am.
Buckets? What do you mean buckets?
Buckets, cheap cars.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
all right. Okay.
Sorry, that's my terminology. So we get a lot of beat up cars, and that's where I first started learning about tow yard auctions. So I go in the public notices in the newspaper, find the tow yard auctions, go there and start picking up cars. And
this was in high school?
And this is when I was in high school. I was like 15, 16.
So always a hustler.
Love cars, and unfortunately, just like a toxic relationship, I got sucked back in, and here we are today, 40 years later.
I like that reference.
Yeah.
So, hustler in high school, I did the same thing. My parents didn't have a ton of money. They were young when they had me. So they provided everything they could, but not more than that.
Yeah.
So if I wanted something extra, I really needed to earn it, figure out ways to make it happen, which is probably what made us who we are today.
100%.
We're scrappers and have to figure it out. And a lot of the people in this building are probably the same.
Oh, yeah.
They're probably
100%.
all hustlers. Professional problem solver is what I consider myself. When I was in high school, it was the same thing. My father helped me buy my first car. We built it, sold it. I traded it out for something else, bought that, fixed it, cleaned it, sold it. Paid through college that way as well. And when I was in my 20s, I had done it too many times in a year. So it actually, I was contacted by the state saying, hey, you know, you're a dealer, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not. You're a dealer that doesn't have a license. We need you to get your dealer's license. So that's how I started. So I didn't have to register the cars anymore. I didn't have to title them with my names anymore. I didn't have to pay sales tax on them anymore. So having my dealer's license was one of the better choices in my life, and it was out of necessity or force. So you also have a dealership, or do you sell cars somehow? How do you do it?
So I first owned an auto repair shop, and I started fixing cars, and this was during the 2008 fallout.
That's when I started too.
Yeah, they started leaving their cars. I started doing mechanics liens. I had 30, 40 cars in my lot, and I was selling 30 to 40 cars every month, and I figured might as well get a dealer's license, and that's what I fell into. So I started back then, and I actually sold my dealership at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, right before the pandemic. I wanted to take a break because we'll talk about some of the horrific stories we faced, but I love the car business. I feel like I try to do everything: mechanical, upholstery, bodywork, fabrication, Now I do a lot of buying and selling of auto loan portfolio. But no, I mean, I love the business, but the main thing that got me started in YouTube, believe it or not, I got to give shout outs to you, is you and one other guy. You were the positive side. You were telling about the truth about what it's like to be a dealer.
Behind the scenes, right?
This other guy, man, I can't remember his name, but he's a guy out of Florida that was telling people you can get a license out of your backyard.
I know who it is.
Yeah.
He flopped though.
Oh yeah.
It didn't work.
I did 2 videos basically commenting on that stuff, and that's literally how I kind of got my foot in the game. But what about you?
That guy actually made some videos about me. Like really, it was almost like a Jay-Z Nas. Was it Jay-Z and Nas that used to? Yeah, it was like a Jay-Z Nas thing. I don't dare say his name. I won't mention him in the video, but he was throwing out some videos dedicated to me, and I'd watch them. Like my viewers would send them to me. Like, who is this guy, and why is he making videos about me? He didn't make it anymore. Yeah. I don't think he's out there. No, he's gone. Yeah, probably. So the strong survived, I would say. Like, we're still out here doing well. And the YouTube, I really enjoy it actually as much as the car dealership. It's more of a therapy for me. Mm-hmm. So we go through a lot of things, a lot of headaches, and I make a video about it so other people get to see what we go through. And I feel like a lot of people can relate. So even at this convention here, a lot of people have come up to me and they're like, hey, I love that video about the guy that tried to hustle you on the Corvette. You know, you like, will you take credit cards? I'm like, I don't take credit cards. He's like, well, what about 500 on a car? I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. Don't charge it back. I won't, I promise, charge it back. Yeah. Those little stories go miles for a lot of people where they kind of recommend, like they just can relate to it. What are some of do you do stories too on your YouTube channel? What do you think are your best performing videos? You know, it's funny. Unfortunately, my best performing videos when I talk about the market, but I don't want to beat that dead horse. There's 60 other YouTubers that pop up since us. They just perform so well. Yeah, and so I'm trying to purposely not do them now. But I did tell a few things. I did the truth about being a car dealer, and I talked about a lot of the stuff that we talk because for some reason everybody thinks that we're and everybody hates dealers, but most of the people you meet are like us. They're just regular guys making money, trying to support their families. And I'll tell you what, for every one shady thing you think a dealer's doing, customers are way worse. Way worse. Buyers are liars. 100%. How many times have I said buyers are liars? And that's actually what makes my channel so great. Yeah, it's when I say, hey, you know what? I know you hate me, but here's what it's like behind the scenes. Here's what happened to me today. Yeah, I mean, we can literally have a 6-hour conversation about all the times we've been screwed over. And the worst thing is they have rights as a consumer where we don't have any rights. I've had chargebacks on credit cards, fake checks, fake titles. They never get in trouble, but they could file a complaint against me at DMV. I have this thing, no good deed goes unpunished. That's my terminology. That's a real thing, That's a real thing. We gave a minivan to a single mom. My dealership was in front of a bus stop, and it was raining, and we saw this woman out there, and we took this van on trade. I think it was like a 2003 Dodge Caravan. I think I gave him like $500 in trade. Brought her in. She was complaining that she's, going the bus back and forth to work, then picking up her kids from daycare. Really horrific. And at the time, my dad was with me. He's like, you know what? He goes, you're blessed, son. You should do something nice for somebody else. It's like, you know what? You're right, Dad. I asked her, I was like, I'll give you this van just for you, nothing extra, whatever else. She said, sure. Give it to her. She's so happy. She started crying. Thank you so much. I felt like a good person. 2 days later, she's knocking on my door. Hey, I need a warranty. This is clicking, the sound, the radio's not working. You own that car for life. The free car, you own it for life. Oh yeah, and so I fixed a few things, told her the radio's not covered. It's a cosmetic. As long as the AC's blowing, you get your kids back and forth, whatever. This lady proceeded to come back 6 more times, and every time she came back, she was more rude. And finally, at the very end, I just got sick. I was like, you know what? Give me the car back. I'll give it to somebody who appreciates it. You can take the bus. I literally had to yell at her in front of everybody to bring her back down to reality. And she's like, no, I'll take the car. Never saw her again. But I can't say how many times I've done those type of deals, and they always blow up in my face. So what I noticed in this business is the term give an inch, they'll take a foot. I get taken advantage of all the time. My viewers have seen it too. I want to be a reputable dealer. I want people to like me. I'm probably insecure. I just want people to like me in general. But I really want to do the right thing. We already have such a bad stigma about us that I try to go the extra mile for customers. If there's a problem, I am for sure going to take care of it. Now, here's an issue where we talked about the buyers are liars. I even have some of my closest friends. They will tell me stories of like they traded in their car, right? And they're like, oh, I bought a new car. Oh, congrats, that's awesome. What'd you do with the one that had a bad transmission? It's like, traded in, got top dollar. Yeah. And like they don't say a word that they traded in, got top dollar, and needed transmission issues, had a transmission issue. So that dealer took it in trade, and they found out after they purchased it probably 100 miles later that the check engine light was cleared for a transmission code. Now, if they don't drive it 100 miles, they're going to go through it, they'll run through it, they'll fix it, they'll clean it, they'll sell it. And then 80 miles later, the next buyer is going to go, hey, Craig, you sold me a car with a bad transmission.
Yeah.
Now, who's the bad guy? Me. I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
Not the guy who traded it in and didn't tell me that it had a bad transmission. So there's a stigma to us, but it's completely okay to take advantage of us as well.
I actually have a funny saying. They always say, you got to do the right thing when it's you putting out money.
Yeah.
When it's the other way around, I've had people literally lie about like the titles, the mileage on cars. I've run history on it. They always come back, well, we made a deal. You can't go back on the deal. It's law. But like you said, Lord help you if something else goes wrong on their car.
Yeah, well, think about this.
Banging on your door.
You take in a car. You sell somebody a car. They have an issue. First thing they're going to do is come back and ask you, hey, I need brakes. Will you fix it? Right? I just expect it from people.
Yeah.
They say no. I say yes. It goes back and forth. Depends on the situation. Depends on how nice and polite and deserving the customer was. But nevertheless, they're going to come back. Now, if somebody traded in a car to me that had issues that they hid from me, and I call them back and I'm like, hey, listen, that car you traded in had a transmission code. You didn't tell me about it. They're like, too bad.
Yeah.
Too bad for you. Figure it out.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, they can be the bad guy. We can't be the bad guy. So people call me crying wheels. This is like my therapy videos. I know you're going to call me crying wheels in this video because I'm saying this, but it's really true. I get taken advantage of, but I can't take advantage.
I remember showing to my subscribers one time because everybody was saying the same thing, like, why are you complaining? You're making so much money. And I showed in 2018 for it's just brakes, it's just a squeak, it's just a rattle, was $78,000 of what I spent on cheap stuff and one-time things.
There's a term for that as dealers. It's what do I have it called? I mean, there's actually a physical term. It's like a gimmies or something.
Yeah.
So do you know what it's called? Is it called gimmies?
Everyone calls it. I put it under the WEO.
Yeah, WEO form. Yeah, so it's a WEO form, and I get the as-is paperwork signed, and if I do anything extra, I'll get another as-is signed afterwards. But the WEO forms, when they come back, and they're like, will you do this? That stuff adds up tremendously. If I was a jerk, you'd be $78,000 richer in 1 year if you were a jerk and said no to people.
I'm sure you have stories too. Like, we all have dealer friends that are just complete scumbags.
Yeah, we know them.
We literally leave a single mom on the side of the road, won't even lose a wink of sleep.
Have much more money than we do.
Money. Yeah. And then we're like, we're going to help you folks. We're going to go out of our way. And like I said, no good deed goes unpunished. They just complain, they cry, they get upset. They do all these things. It's just not fair.
So this is turning into a venting session about our customers, and I didn't mean it to go this way. I'm going to change it over a little bit more. We discussed about how you got into YouTube. What did you say your best performing videos are besides the negative videos? So there are people out there that make those videos that are like, I'm done, the world's dying.
Yeah.
I'm really trying not to make that. I don't like the negative connotation videos. I want to be positive. They just perform so well.
It's easy money, and I hate to say
they're just
we're out here, we're probably going to take a hit on this video, but we're doing it for the greater good.
Yeah, right? Oh, jeez.
I'd say probably my biggest video are stuff like behind the scenes educational. Kind of like, the same stuff you're doing where, people don't realize like the banks charge us money, the buyers are liars, the issues we have with buying at the auction. Sometimes we get screwed as dealers as well. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people kind of open up their eyes to some of the stuff that they had no idea. They always thought that dealers were making all this money. And I did a breakdown of if we bought a car and we only made 10% profit off the car, how much do we truly make after paying everybody?
You pay your employees, multiple employees, pay your vendors for brakes or oil and filters, all those things, mortgage, insurance, you pay workers' comp, you pay your garage policy. That stuff really adds up tremendously.
Auction fee, bank fee,
the
insurance
auction
fee.
fees.
By the time we get feed to death, do you guys think you have fees to pay? We pay 10 times the fees
That's actually true. So our processing fee or that dealer fee that people hate, I get it. I know why you hate it. I get it.
Yeah.
But if they just knew the fees we pay on things, and it sucks. We're in a tough time now where we're in kind of a downward spiral in the car market, where before, we were paying more, we were charging more. I didn't want to have to do that to our customers, but we're paying more.
Yeah.
And when the customer came on the lot, is it negotiable? It's not. It's not negotiable. I can't replace this car. I'm like, okay, fine. Here it is. We're in a market now where it's negotiable. We're in a market now where some dealers have overpaid for things and can't get rid of inventory. I have plenty of those things. I make videos saying that, and I still have vehicles that I've overpaid for. What are you seeing that you're selling? What are you making money on? And what are you finding that you get the best deals on when you buy?
I would say the gold right now, especially if you're a dealer watching this, is anything under 15 grand is gold. This is my go-to. Every time there's a recession, the banks are tightening down because of the repos. Anything that'll be a good starter car for somebody either building their credit or that just had a repo, which there's a lot of them coming.
Happening, yeah.
Yeah, these are the cars that they want. But for some reason, all these dealers got to have the brand new trucks, the brand new SUVs, the Mercedes on their lot. People used to laugh. Like, I would flip, like I had a few Rolls Royces, McLarens, and some of these nice cars. I don't do any of that. All I sell is buckets. Buckets are cheap, 5,000 and below cars. People laugh at me, but my margins on those cars
100% sometimes.
Yeah, I double my money sometimes, and then they move.
Yeah.
I can get a smoking deal on a C8 Corvette. It's going to sit on my lot. I know you had one that you had to take to the auction.
Yeah.
It sits, it's time, it's money wasted.
Ties up 6 to 10 times more the amount of money too.
Yeah. Everybody has this big thing of you got to buy expensive cars to be a dealer, and you need all this crazy stuff when it's really not. It's all about moving the cars quickly and controlling my cost. When I was younger, same thing. My first dealership, I called them bait cars. I bought all the nice fancy cars that impressed all my friends. But after paying those flooring fees from next year, that shit ended real quick.
Don't call them out. Oh. From the finance company, from the floor plan company.
Yeah, from the floor
I'm not saying we took advantage of you. All right, sorry, next year. There are others out there that do it too. So we talked about 2008. You started right around 2008. So did I as well. And I just thought what you said just now is a perfect segue into that topic. I do better on inexpensive cars. I have sometimes 100% margins on less expensive sub $5,000 cars. But I always thought in my head, I don't want to be the car dealer that sells $4,500 cars. So I worked up to $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 cars. I have $20,000 cars that literally have birthdays. I can put a cake and a candle on the hood of the car. But I've sold $5,000 cars since then.
Yeah.
Takes up a spot. It takes up 4 or 5 times the amount of money for 12 months. So not just 4 or 5 times the amount of money on one car. I could roll that $5,000 5 times, probably 10 times throughout the year, or tie up $20,000 in one car that isn't selling for 12 months. So it really costs us a lot of money to tie up vehicles that don't sell.
Yeah, when we go out and we talk to dealers, I tell them it's a lost opportunity cost. Because they're always like, well, I can only make $1,000 off this car, but I can rip $3,000 on this car. I'm like, you'll flip this cheap car 5 times and you'll triple that money. And so it's a hard pill to swallow. I mean, especially now when everybody's had such nice cars and the market's been great, it's very hard to tell dealers you need to go find cheap cars. They don't want to do it. Their brains don't work that way. You can only go up, you can't go down.
I get it. I get the feeling of like, I want to be the reputable guy that sells. But you know what? My $17,000 Silverados have as much headache in the transmissions and the lifters and everything else as the $4,000 like Accord or whatever.
Yeah.
If there's such thing as a $4,000 Accord, I don't think there even is anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get it at the auction, no.
No.
If you buy it from people, yes.
Yeah. So that's actually a perfect topic now too. Where are you getting your cars? And before you answer, this is why I want to say this. I go to the auction. My brother Adam started his own dealership and he wants to sell Accords, Corollas, CRVs. He cannot find them at the auction. He is battling with exporters and just people that focus on those cars and that's all they buy. He's getting no deals on anything.
Those buy here, pay here guys will pay retail for those.
They are. So we can't compete with them.
Yeah.
So when you want to buy that reliable Toyota or Honda, you're not getting a deal, and then I'm not selling it to anybody at retail because I'm not financing them the way that other people can.
Yeah, I would say the best thing to do is I have a kind of a system I built where first I go directly to lenders. So I go to every title loan company, every pawn shop, every small credit union and bank in your area. Say, I buy all cars. Give me your cheap cars. Give me your broken cars. I used to have this thing where I'd fill up my car full of donuts. Now I'd drive around to literally every bank, every business. I would stop by auto repair shops, body shops, anywhere that would basically listen to me. Rental car companies, give them donuts. Give me your cheap cars. Give me your cheap cars. I'll take them. I want them. And so after about 3 months of doing that, I started getting probably about maybe 5 to 10 a day. And so I would bid on the ones I wanted, let the other ones go. But then I realized that if I bought all of them, they would basically be forced to sell everything to me. So I started buying, like from these title loan companies, I was buying maybe 20 to 100 a month. It was crazy. But I got them at good deals before they got to the auction. And so to take
no fees either, no auction fees.
That's the catch. And then on top of
imagine what you'd be paying if you're buying 100 cars a month with an auction fee.
Oh yeah.
Versus buying them from the bank with no auction. You're saving 15 grand a month in fees,
You're
maybe
saving
more.
so much. And then the big opportunity is the fact that if you're just new or you're not really mechanically inclined, it gives you the time to test them, to look at them. Because, like some of these auctions now, they're locking the doors. They won't let you test drive them. They
Can't
won't
plug
let you
them into the OBD scanner.
Yeah. So these cars can be complete garbage, where at least these banks, you want to take this car out for the day? Go for it.
Yeah.
And they just let me drive them around. And so that rolls into the next one, where I started buying majority of my cars from people. I don't buy from auctions anymore.
People off Marketplace, or are they coming to you, or what?
Yeah, I run ads on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Craigslist.
I Buy Cars.
Instagram, yeah, I Buy Cars. Sounds cheesy, it actually works. We spend about $3,000 to $10,000 a month, depending on the market. We run ads for, like, if we're doing Hondas, we'll buy your Hondas, we'll pay top cash. Trucks, we'll buy this. We'll buy cars, maybe salvage titles, bad titles. We do different, like, demographics, whatever, where, like, just making money at the auction. We buy them up, we clean them, and we sell them. And I tell you what, since I've done this, maybe in the last 3 years, I've bought maybe 10 cars at the auction.
Do you wholesale them after you get them, or do you retail them? So you're not even dealing with retail customers.
I got so sick of, and I know this is going to treat a lot of people, I got so sick of people trying to screw us over. I just stopped dealing with the customers. I love the business. I love cars. I just hate getting sued, getting people chasing after people trying to get free stuff. I got sick of it.
Without that, I would have no YouTube videos, though.
Yeah.
So luckily, I have the backside where I can, like, it kind of recoups a little bit because I'm making videos. I get my therapy in it, but I don't want this to turn into a customer complaint video. It is really difficult. So everybody says since COVID, but honestly, since COVID, people have truly changed. The market has truly changed. People's expectations became unrealistic. People became way more entitled. So they expect more, they want to pay less, and they're entitled to everything. It's become really difficult, and they are really difficult. So I want to work with great people, and I appreciate them more, and I take care of them better on the backside. If they have an issue, listen, you are so pleasant to work with. I will give you what you need. But the people that are entitled, or like the headaches I have to deal with, I have a video coming out of me going to court on a woman that's suing me over a car. She bought it 2.5 years ago. She still has the car. She's suing me for the entire amount of the car. I went to court last week. This video hasn't come out yet. I went to court last week, and I'm like, you know what? I'm driving by this woman's house. If she still has this car, my mind is going to be blown. It's in her driveway, registered. She's been using the vehicle, and she's suing me over it from 2.5 years ago for the entire amount of the car. I honestly,
I guess it's damaged and she can't drive it, right?
She'll drive it. After 2.5 years, she should be calling me, thanking me. Hey, that car is still great. Thanks a lot. Just, nope, she's riding everything she has to take advantage of me. Attorney fees, and court costs, all those things. And I'm not going to let her win because she's wrong. Now it's out of principle. Whatever. I'll pay the attorney the entire amount of the car just so you don't get it.
This literally feels like 2008 all over again. I had all my friends that were doing great. The economy was great. I want this. You're going to give me this. And when the money's flowing, we don't care. We'll give. But now that the money's gone away, banks are tightening up. These same picky consumers need to be brought back down to reality. Because I remember when my friends were giving up their brand new Escalades and their Bentley Continental GTs to buy a used Honda Civic because their construction company went out in 2008.
It's a correction. We need it. We're due for a correction. We need
totally need it.
We've all been greedy. Everybody has. Everyone. I mean, we did really well for a long time, but everything needs to be corrected and set back. Everyone was charging too much for everything. My insurance costs have increased. Everything has increased, which forces us to make concessions and figure out where to tighten up our business model. Otherwise, you're sinking. And I can already tell you how many, I can count a handful of dealers on my town that have gone under. And it's because of their cost, their overhead. When everything's great, it's fine, write the check. When it's not great anymore, they either reevaluate, reassess, adjust, and adapt, or they don't.
Smart, but 99% of dealers don't adjust. Like, the people that are sitting in this room at this convention are the forward-thinking ones, the ones that actually want to do something different and be better, and like we're doing, talking and sharing. But I hate to say it, majority of the dealers, they have this big thing, and I don't know what it is. I do consulting besides this, and most of them are always like, I know what I'm doing. Why are you
it's my way. I know what I'm doing. I'm fine. Okay. I'm successful.
I wish you the best of luck. Then they usually call you. My flooring company's outside with tow trucks. I got 16 buybacks. What do I do? It's like, sorry, man, you're too late.
Two things I want to mention. So before I get into this next topic, I want to just say the information you just gave a few minutes ago about where you purchase your vehicles is so valuable. So I hope people understand, like, you don't have to give that information out. You can keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
You're essentially making competitors
Yeah.
for yourself in your market and my market. But we make these videos because we want to share with people. I hope they appreciate that type of information because it is so valuable.
Yeah, I always tell people we want more educated buyers or people that know more, because if I'm not willing to pay 10 grand for a beat up Civic and he's not willing to pay 10 grand, you shouldn't either. We should all have the same level of intelligence, or I guess hype on the game, that we're not going to overpay. But now, me and you won't bid on that car, but we'll see these yahoos
Still doing it.
with their new flooring
It
line.
affects us and them.
Yeah,
I can't buy it because they're overpaying, and they're going to go under because they're overpaying.
Yeah, we want educated dealers to help basically bottom out the market. And on top of that, for even just the regular people, your regular fans, you know, the market, the customers dictate the market. So if you guys are overpaying, believe it or not, part of the problem why cars go so up is because people are still willing to overpay. Once you guys stop overpaying, watch how fast dealers and banks start to backpedal.
Yeah.
Because we
it's
can
still
only
happening.
sell what the demand belies.
Dealers are still overpaying for things.
Oh, yeah.
I go to the auction, I see it all the time, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I don't understand where they're getting their money from, number one, and who the heck they're selling them to, number two.
Yeah.
We do all need to reevaluate. We need to reassess, and we need a correction in the market, and it's happening. People are tightening up their wallets, and I'm going to see a lot of businesses start to change. They're either changing or they're not changing, and then it's going to be bad for them. Something else you mentioned was forward thinkers like people here. So we haven't even discussed what we're doing here. We're in Las Vegas. You're out of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So we're at the National Independent Automotive Dealers Association. This is my second time speaking here. They invited me to speak about social media and how you can grow your business by building a brand on social media, which you've done yourself. Yeah. I love that we're kind of so similar that you just get everything I do, I get everything that you do. It's fun to collaborate and talk about similar things versus just preaching to somebody else about how it works. The NIADA, we're in the exhibition hall right now, and what you'll notice as we're panning around, you're gonna watch as I'm talking, these are all of our vendors. So they're selling us like reinsurance or insurance or warranty programs. There are auction companies here. There's everything that would involve car dealerships, car dealer world is here. Now, on top of the vendors in this expo hall are the breakout sessions. So like I had mentioned, I spoke yesterday about what works for my dealership. I don't expect everybody to become a YouTuber. I hope they don't become a YouTuber. But what works for my business and how you can make what works for me work for you differently. So that's what I spoke about yesterday. There were other people about how to manage your employees, how to find technicians, which is near impossible now. There's how to buy and how to sell subprime financing. Everything you need to know is in a convention like this, and that's why we come out here. Not just for the margaritas and the good times. I do come here for that. Yeah. But also, I get to learn a lot that I otherwise wouldn't learn. I'm in my own little world making videos. I don't socialize with a lot of other car dealers by the pool or at lunch or the social networking events that they have while you're here. So these events really are important, not even to just see the vendors. That's helpful. But to chat with people like you and all these other dealers in small talk, we get to learn what works for them.
What every market's doing, and and it's kind of funny because like I look and I see a lot of people, but this is less than 1% of all the used car dealers in the United States.
Yeah, good. So good for us.
It's like fraction of a cent. So that just shows you on how many forward-thinking dealers are compared to people that are just like, I know it all. I'm still going to sell a car way over book, and I'm not going to change my ways. So
right.
I think everybody here is probably going to make it through these next 2 years. Everybody else is probably didn't come here and is watching at home.
They're here for a reason. We're trying to learn. We're trying to improve our business. We're trying to just pinch every
$500,000 house. It's okay to buy it as is, but if you buy a 20-year-old car, you can't buy it as is. It's got to have a warranty.
Such a weird business
1 year.
In.
Yeah.
Now that I'm doing it with someone else that has these same stories,
we're glutton for punishment.
Strange business we're in.
It's like a toxic relationship. That's the best way I can refer to it. It's like you try to get out of it. You say you're going to leave.
They bring you back in.
You back in.
Perfect segue into what I actually do. So I have this website called startyourdealership.com. If you want to get your own dealer's license, learn how to start your own dealership, you can go to www.startyourdealership.com and you can participate in these same stories that we're having right now. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out.
Join us in our misery.
If you want. And then you also help people too. Do you mentor as well?
Yeah, we do consulting. Go to my site, automotivelife.com. We can book a 1-hour call and we can tell you all the fun, good, bad things of why you should become a dealer or why you shouldn't. Rental car business, anything pretty much automotive, we cover in my channel. And
This video did turn into a lot of venting between the two of us. We go through a lot of things, and I love that you get to see the backside of it, which is why I make these videos. It's not all bad. I mean, we're in Las Vegas. I got out of the pool to do this.
Yeah.
I have a margarita in front of me. I had a great dinner tonight. I'm going to go out. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, it's a business expense to come out here and do these things.
Yeah.
So it works really, really well. My kids are fed. My house is paid for. I drive what I like my job. Everything's good. Just generally speaking, it's good to vent every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem. We can't vent to anybody else because we're evil dealers. But as dealers, we can, basically talk amongst ourselves. Be like, this is what we're going through. But like you said, I mean, I love the business. I've tried to get into other things. Even me doing YouTube full time now, I still buy and sell cars because I can't get away from it.
Can't get out of it.
I love it.
I like it. I like it. I like the hunt.
Yeah.
I love the hunt.
Yeah.
And then, it's nice to have the cash in my hand too, which is good. And then every once in a while I get that cool person that you get to chat with, which is fun too. I buy the stuff I love.
Yeah, I talk about some of the good stuff, there's two major purchases, a home and a car. And so it's nice to be part of somebody's thing. Like I've had people I've sold cars to for over 15 years. They came, their kids came and bought a car for me. It's kind of neat. So it's like when you see that, if you have like a favorite restaurant you go to or a favorite doctor or dentist, like you build that relationship with that professional, they keep coming back.
I always say everybody's got a guy.
Yeah.
People love to have a guy.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm moving. I got a guy.
Yeah.
Hey, I need.
That's the only thing about the West Coast. Unfortunately, we don't really have that a lot, but you guys do on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be a part of that.
Yeah.
You want to be.
It's nice to be the guy for somebody.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave it there. Before we take off, if you have any plugs, anything you'd like to discuss, promotions that you want to talk about, now's the opportunity to do so.
Real quick, I own a company called Loanbridge. It's basically you upload all your VIN list if you're a buy here, pay here dealer or a bank. It tracks all your repos. It gives you real-time data on if your car's been towed, repoed, in an accident, theft, pretty much if they did a mechanics lien, it gives you all that data. Go to loanbridge.ai, and all that I ask is you make sure you subscribe to this man if you haven't already. Follow us both on Instagram. Mine's at Lucky Lopez. Yours is
Flying Wheels.
And I guess
to find you on YouTube, just
YouTube?
look up Lucky Lopez, right?
Lucky Lopez.
Simple as that.
Same as my OnlyFans.
Nice. Awesome. Hopefully OnlyFans is paying off well.
I know exactly. I'm trying to get that subscriber money.
Still trying to build that one up. Yeah, it's not working for me. So my name is Craig from Flying Wheels. This is
Lucky Lopez.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see y'all later. Adios.